Have you ever felt that you have a greater purpose, as if you were called to help and heal others? Dolores Cannon believed that spiritual healers possess unique abilities and go through intense challenges that shape them. If you feel a deep connection to others suffering and have faced difficult situations yourself, you might be one of them. Let's explore the signs that can reveal whether you truly have this gift and what your role in the world might be. Are you ready to discover if you're a spiritual healer? There are moments in life when we feel an unexplainable connection to everything around us, as if we're part of a grand cosmic puzzle. This feeling is one of the first signs that someone might be a spiritual healer. People with this sensitivity stand out for their natural empathy, absorbing others' emotions and sensing the energy around them. They often describe the sensation of carrying the weight of the world, as if others' pains were their own. A practical example of this is when, upon visiting historical places or locations with a strong emotional charge, you feel overwhelmed by emotions you didn't even know you had. Spiritual healers also exhibit a deep connection with nature. The sense of peace and balance they experience while walking through a forest or by the sea is almost like a spiritual recharge. Many choose these experiences as a way to cope with their own emotions and heal from daily challenges. For them, being in nature isn't just a moment of tranquility, but an opportunity to reconnect with the energetic forces that govern everything. Nature, for these healers, is a true sanctuary where they renew their strength and reflect on life. This deep connection also extends to their interactions with others. Have you ever noticed that certain individuals seem capable of making you feel understood with just a glance? Spiritual healers have that positive presence that transforms environments, radiating an energy that calms others. They're the friends who listen without judgment, who make you feel better just by being there. And often, they don't even realize the impact they have on others. This ability to heal through their presence is something natural and instinctive for them, and becomes a true gift that serves as a compass for understanding their mission in the world. But what happens when this gift of empathy becomes too heavy to bear? Spiritual healers aren't forged in comfortable and protected environments, but in the midst of chaos and adversity. These people often face deep traumas such as abuse, loss, or severe illness, which challenge their perception of the world and push their sensitivity to its limits. Each of these experiences leaves scars that, instead of weakening them, end up molding them into more resilient and wise beings. It's common for them to feel genuine empathy when hearing stories of pain and overcoming, recognizing their own battles in the path of those speaking. If you've ever found yourself offering a shoulder to cry on while feeling your own pain being healed in the process, it's a sign that your journey is also serving to heal others. These challenges not only leave marks, but also provide an innate ability to understand and support those going through similar situations. A spiritual healer who has overcome trauma, such as a near-death experience, often develops a renewed and empowered outlook on life. The fear of living transforms into the courage to help others overcome their own battles. The wisdom accumulated through years of facing difficulties becomes a guide for those still trapped in their own shadows. This is the shamanic archetype in action, the healer who crosses through pain and returns to share what they've learned, acting as a true guide of light. However, overcoming difficulties is neither a linear nor easy process. Many spiritual healers isolate themselves during periods of pain, feeling misunderstood or overwhelmed by others' expectations. In these moments, isolation serves as a refuge to process emotions and discover their own limits. Recognizing the need for solitude and using this time alone to reconnect with one's inner essence is crucial to avoid getting lost in the sea of others' emotions. But how does one find balance when constantly dealing with intense pain, whether it's their own or that of others? For a spiritual healer, being in nature is like returning home. They feel a deep connection with the earth, the wind, and the rivers, almost as if they can hear the whispers of the trees and sense the pulse of life in every leaf. This isn't just a whim, but a necessity for energetic replenishment. Places like dense forests, mountains, and even simple gardens become sanctuaries for these individuals. If you're a healer, you may have noticed that after an intense day of interactions and absorbing others' emotions, walking outdoors brings an immediate sense of relief, as if the heavy energies simply dissipate with the fresh breeze. It's through this connection that spiritual healers find an inexhaustible source of healing and balance. Many identify as protectors of nature, feeling a special responsibility to care for the environment. This bond goes beyond appreciation. It's a symbiotic relationship where both are nurtured. A practical example of this is the practice of grounding, where walking barefoot on natural ground helps release static energy and rebalance the body. Small rituals like this can be powerful allies for those who deal daily with the emotions and energies of others. Moreover, nature becomes a mirror for the healer's soul, reflecting their own internal changes. When a storm forms, they sense the tension in the air as if it were their own restlessness taking shape. When sunlight pierces through the tree canopies, it's as if each ray brings a piece of hope and clarity. It's in these moments that the spiritual healer understands that their energy is intertwined with the natural flow of the world. But can this harmony also become a burden? After all, how can one maintain this balance when living surrounded by concrete and noise? Spiritual healers possess heightened sensitivity that turns them into true energy sponges. In chaotic environments like crowded malls or noisy parties, it's common for them to feel an overwhelming pressure, as if all the emotions around them are absorbed by their body. This can lead to sensations of extreme fatigue or even physical pain without an apparent cause. If you've ever felt an immediate sense of relief upon leaving a busy place, you're probably dealing with this sensitivity. For many, the solution seems simple: avoid crowds. But in practice, isolating oneself constantly isn't viable and can generate a feeling of disconnection from the outside world. One effective technique to protect against this energy overload is to establish visualizations of energetic barriers. Imagine a luminous shield around you, filtering only the good energies and reflecting the negative ones. This small exercise done daily can help keep your own energy stable. Another useful practice is energetic cleansing, using natural elements like burning sage or incense to purify the atmosphere of your living space. These actions help balance your sensitivity, preventing the absorption of external emotions from turning into an unbearable burden. That's why developing strategies to care for your own energy is essential for maintaining well-being. Despite being challenging, this sensitivity is also one of the most valuable gifts a healer possesses. It allows them to perceive subtle nuances in people, identifying hidden pains and emotions that even the individuals themselves aren't aware of. It's as if they have an antenna tuned to capture frequencies that go unnoticed by common eyes. However, without proper management, this ability can become exhausting. So how can one learn to manage this heightened perception without closing off to the world or drowning in the pain they absorb? Spiritual healers don't just feel others' emotions, they understand them on a profound level. It's as if they have the ability to step into the minds and hearts of people, identifying exactly what's going on, even when no one else notices. This emotional empathy manifests in ordinary conversations, where the healer can detect sadness in a smile or anger hidden behind kind words. However, this ability can become a burden if not well managed. It's like walking a tightrope between helping and getting lost in others' emotions. Having clarity about where your own emotions begin and end is essential to avoid being overwhelmed by others' pain. Imagine a healer working in highly emotional environments, like hospitals or charity organizations. For them, each story of triumph or loss resonates deeply. Without realizing it, they might start carrying others' suffering as if it were their own, compromising their physical and mental health. To prevent this, self-care practices like meditation, journaling, and physical exercise are crucial. The key is to transform this empathy into positive action without letting it become a burden. This means creating moments of introspection to empty the emotional buildup and restore one's own energy. On the other hand, this empathy can be a true gift when used consciously. Spiritual healers have such a comforting presence that even strangers feel comfortable sharing their lives. If you've ever found yourself in situations where unknown people open up about their struggles, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. This ability to instantly connect and soothe hearts is the hallmark of a true healer. But how do you balance this talent without it becoming exhausting? How can you continue helping others without losing sight of your own needs? The shamanic archetype is a powerful representation of the spiritual healer's journey, facing their own shadows to emerge transformed. Just like shamans in ancient cultures, they go through a series of internal crises and transcendent experiences that force them to expand their perception and wisdom. This might include intense events like vivid and premonitory dreams, near-death experiences, or even encounters with spiritual figures during meditation. These events aren't random. They act as gateways to a deeper world of understanding, and often initiate a radical transformation in life. This transformation doesn't happen in a straight line. Spiritual healers experience ups and downs, often feeling lost before finding clarity. The process is similar to what Joseph Campbell describes as the hero's journey, where the protagonist sets off in search of self-knowledge and returns with the wisdom necessary to help others. In a modern context, this journey might involve overcoming trauma, reprogramming limiting beliefs, or developing intuitive gifts. Many begin to share what they've learned, guiding others in their own journeys. Books like The Way of the Shaman by Michael Harner are recommended readings for those who identify with this path and want to better understand their role. The beauty of the shamanic archetype is the ability to guide others through their pain and confusion, without judgment or the need to solve their problems. They understand that each person has their own journey and know exactly how to illuminate the path without interfering. However, this ability to transform pain into wisdom can be exhausting, and without proper management, there's a risk of energetic burnout. Like a modern-day shaman, the spiritual healer must constantly balance helping others and caring for themselves. But how can one find this balance when external demands seem endless? For spiritual healers, setting boundaries can be one of the greatest challenges. By nature, they attract people in need of healing or seeking advice, almost like a magnet that draws in situations requiring empathy and understanding. It's common for strangers to feel comfortable sharing their personal, often heavy stories with them. And the healer, lacking discernment, ends up absorbing these pains. This creates a dangerous cycle of energetic exhaustion, as the healer often prioritizes others' needs over their own. To avoid this burnout, it's crucial to learn to say no when necessary, without guilt or fear of appearing insensitive. Being clear about personal boundaries is a sign of spiritual maturity. A practical example is creating specific moments for deeper interactions and setting aside time to be alone. If you notice that people constantly come to you to vent, why not suggest meeting in a neutral environment, like a cafe or park? This helps separate the support you provide from the energies accumulated in your living space, which should remain a personal sanctuary. Another strategy is to create cleansing rituals, such as baths with coarse salt or deep breathing exercises, which help eliminate the residual energy absorbed during daily interactions. The difficulty in setting boundaries isn't a matter of willpower, but of perception. Spiritual healers feel responsible for others' well-being and sometimes confuse compassion with obligation. This confusion leads them to put themselves second, creating an imbalance that affects all areas of life. Learning to separate one's own energy from others and recognizing when it's time to step back is essential to maintain emotional balance and health. But how can one continue to be a source of support and healing without becoming a repository for others' pain? Spiritual healers often have an intense connection with the dream world. Their dreams are vivid, full of symbolism, and often premonitory. It's as if the unconscious becomes a fertile field to explore the spiritual side of life. They tend to remember details clearly and wake up with the sensation that they've traveled to another reality. Dreams of this kind can provide valuable guidance, revealing hidden aspects of their own healing journey or messages meant to be shared with others. For many healers, keeping a dream journal is essential to organize and interpret the insights they receive during sleep. This deep relationship with the dream world can be both fascinating and challenging. On some occasions, the dreams become so intense that they affect their emotional state during the day, creating a lasting impact. If you've ever had a dream so real that, upon waking, it took you a few minutes to differentiate what was a dream and what was reality, then you know how disturbing it can be. This is when self-care practices become crucial. Techniques like meditating before sleep or visualizing energetic protection help create a barrier that filters the intensity of dream experiences, making them less draining. These dreams aren't just random manifestations of the mind, but gateways to understanding past traumas and paths to overcoming them. By writing down and reflecting on them, spiritual healers can uncover patterns and discover the hidden meaning of many of their experiences. For those looking to deepen this process, books like The Book of Dreams by Carl Jung are excellent resources for study. After all, how can one learn to decipher these messages and use them as a guide for personal evolution and for helping those around them? The mere presence of a spiritual healer can transform the atmosphere of a room. They carry such a pure and vibrant energy that those around them feel lighter and more hopeful, even without exchanging a word. This positive presence isn't a conscious effort, but a natural extension of who they are. Upon entering a space filled with tension, they are often the first to detect and ease the energy. If you've ever noticed that your simple presence calms a room full of anxiety or brings a sense of security to those around, then you've already experienced the effect of this gift in action. However, this ability to radiate positivity also comes with responsibility. Spiritual healers need to be mindful of their own emotional state, as any internal imbalance can negatively influence the environment and the people around them. Maintaining their own energy clean and elevated is essential. Practices like daily affirmations, yoga, or immersion in natural environments are some ways to preserve this positive vibration. These rituals, besides recharging their energy, ensure that they continue to be a motivating presence, capable of turning even the most difficult moments into opportunities for learning and growth. Finally, being a beacon of positivity in a world where negativity and stress are constant is no small challenge. It's not uncommon for healers, in moments of vulnerability, to feel pressured to maintain this aura of optimism, even when their own strength is waning. Understanding and respecting their own limits and allowing themselves to be vulnerable are also part of the healing process. So, how can one balance this capacity to positively influence others without being consumed by the internal and external demands of always being everyone's emotional anchor? Spiritual healers, with their heightened sensitivity and ability to absorb emotions, often need to withdraw from the world to recharge. The need for solitude isn't just a desire to be alone, but a vital tool for maintaining emotional and energetic balance. This isolation is where they process everything they've absorbed, discard what isn't theirs, and rebuild their inner strength. Moments of silence and introspection become a true sanctuary for the mind and soul, allowing them to reevaluate their experiences and strengthen their connection with their essence. If you feel that, after an exhausting day, you need time to be alone before interacting again, it's a sign that solitude is crucial for your renewal. Finding time for this reconnection, however, can be a challenge, especially in a world that constantly demands our attention. This is where the importance of creating small daily rituals comes in, such as practicing mindfulness, meditating, or simply walking in a park without worrying about time. These practices help lift the weight of external energies and facilitate a return to the natural state of inner peace. Many healers even report that these solitary moments are the most productive and inspiring, where new ideas and solutions emerge spontaneously. This period of solitude is therefore more than just relief. It's an essential process of healing and self-discovery. On the other hand, the need for isolation can be misunderstood by others, who see this behavior as coldness or disinterest. The truth is that after intense interactions, healers need to retreat to reorganize their own energies. Understanding and respecting this need is crucial to avoid exhaustion and even emotional burnout. So how can one explain the importance of this time for oneself without appearing distant or indifferent to those who matter most? Now that you know the signs of being a spiritual healer, the question is, how will you apply this knowledge? Recognizing your abilities is the first step to transforming your life and helping others. Think about how you can use this in your daily life, taking care of yourself and offering support to those in need. If you identified with these signs, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to keep learning about spirituality and the journey of self-discovery. Transformation starts with you. Be ready to embrace your true essence.